Okay, this is the June 8th, 2021 Executive Committee meeting of the Troy Community Land Bank.
So since Heather is not here, you get me. I will call the meeting to order, and the time is 4:29. And I'll do roll call. So Heather King is absent. I'm here. Brian Barker
Here.
and Albert Watson.
Here.
And we're being joined by our attorney, Kate Hedgeman, and our executive director, Tony Tazi.
Here.
So the first thing on our agenda is the Legacy Cities grant opportunity. Tony?
So this is going to be a rerun for everyone else. So mostly this is for you, Suzanne. So the governor has released $25 million to land banks for a program called Legacy City Access Program, which is going to be coordinated by Housing and Community Renewal. And the program works like this. We would have to, sorry, something popped up on my screen. We would have to come up with what's called a bundle of properties of between 5 and 10 properties. The properties have to be 1 family, 2 family, or 3 family.
Unknown caller. Sorry,
guys. And we would also have to partner up with the developer. In the A&D meeting, we kind of went over what is on the property disposition list that the city is offering to us. Some of the properties that were.
Unknown caller.
Somebody really wants me badly. Sorry. Some of the properties that we'll be getting back from Kate foreclosing on them. And let me put on the screen what everyone has seen. Where is this? Looks like it. Yeah. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So to save you all the reading, the summary has my list of recommendations that we should include in the bundle. So 3229 6th Avenue is already ours. We're stabilizing the building. So when that's done, we'll have a pretty good building at no cost to us. Well, except for what we paid for the stabilization that the grant didn't cover. 17 Park Avenue is a 2-family frame building. It has water damage inside. Does need quite a bit of work, but it looks structurally sound. It has a good roof. 3236 Avenue is a 3-family brick. Looks like it's had some masonry structural issues. I'm going to be going into the building to take a better look at it tomorrow with Steve Streichman. 3340 6th Ave is an inhabited building. I was able to talk to the tenants 2 or 3 times, and they said there's a lot of water coming in. Our drone pictures show a really bad roof on that. It's a shingle roof. You can see a patch, a badly done patch. So I think the biggest problem with the building is very likely to be it needs a new roof and repairs because of the water damage. 863 River Street actually is a vacant building that should come off of this based on the discussions. Oh, that that should have been 8. That should have been 836 River Street. I'm sorry. 836 River Street and 785 River Street are the 2 properties that will be coming back to us. And 7 Park, if for some reason we can't get to 5 buildings, I have 7 Park Avenue on here, which we have programmed to demolish so that we can create a larger redevelopment area for the RPI Habitat TAP Land Bank collaboration. So I've already spoken to someone who's interested in writing the grant for us. She knows this area very, very, very well. She used to work at Trip. And I'm also going to be talking to the person who wrote our round 4.2 grant to see if he has an interest. But I think we can put together a pretty attractive application for HCR to consider. They want to see, they really want to see an MBE, WVE developer for the land bank to partner with. And they want to see the buildings in fairly close proximity to each other. Other than the buildings on, well, I should say, Park Ave, Glen Ave, the 6th Avenue properties, and 17 and 7 Park Ave, they're all within like 400-foot radius from one another. So that's pretty tight. Even if you go to River Street, that's still, you know, I think in close enough proximity that we'd have a pretty good location map. There doesn't appear to be a filing deadline for this application. So it sounds like there's $25 million to be had, and when the money's gone, the money's gone. So I think the sooner we can get an application in, the better.
Yeah. Tony, I'm reading under the eligibility eligible applicants section. It says land banks that demonstrate the capacity to address more than one assemblage following the same criteria listed above will receive priority review for funding. Just wondering if for 2 or 3 properties away, is there a way we can, is there anything else we can grab that would make our application more attractive?
Well, we could put 863 River back on. That would be one way.
Yeah.
We could put 785 River on. Oh, it is on, I'm sorry. We could, well, they want all these properties to come from, I believe they want all these properties to come from city tax foreclosures.
Gotcha.
Who is this gonna run through Enterprise?
HCR.
Nice.
No,
So,
I don't know if HCR is going to farm it out to Enterprise, but it would be nice if they didn't.
I personally wouldn't waste time with trying to get 2 bundles, but if there was an easy way to get 2 bundles and keep the same application schedule. I mean, I didn't think of this in the A&D meeting, but
No,
I'm
it's,
just thinking about it now.
I was actually thinking backwards of that. I didn't see the piece where the more bundles, the merrier.
Yeah.
Let me double check on where the properties have to come from. If we have the option to go and acquire properties, we might be able to go to some folks who just, you know, who are in the process of acquiring properties from the city and see if they would just sell them to us to get to 10.
Yeah.
One of the other things, there was a webinar last week, and one of the things one of the HCR representatives said was, you want to pick the low-hanging fruit when you put them in a bundle. So you don't want properties that need extensive stabilization work. You know, you really want
Right.
properties that you can afford to rehab, basically.
Right.
And
You
there's
need a
several good reasons.
development partner, right? So you have to go in with the development partner.
Yes, and there is one developer who's worked at Albany County Land Bank who's very interested in Troy. And I'll be hopefully meeting with him Friday next week.
I mean, it's a home ownership program, right? It's for home ownership, isn't it? So, I mean, Habitat might make sense there, or even Seat.
well, here's the rub, and I mentioned this to Tony the other day too. And it's like the general counsel's nightmare. You know, they want you to come in with a developer. But if a quote unquote developer is a for-profit company, right? And not a seat and not a habitat, we've got to do a request for proposals. We've got to bid that out. So thank you, HCR, for, you know, throwing money out there and telling us we got to apply with a developer, but the Land Bank Act is going to require that $10,000 or more to go out. So, you know, I don't know if there's going to be a, I don't know, some sort of workaround on that. I don't know. Until I see the terms of the grant contract, I really won't know. But I just don't see how we can go in with a for-profit partner that wasn't competitively put out there for development.
There's
It goes against the Public Authorities Law, it goes against the Land Bank Act. So it's strange to me, but
what's to keep you from going with a not-for-profit developer?
well, you could, but again, you know, the law is not real clear on, you know, what the requirements for that would be. So I think, you know, if you went in with a co-development model, then like with a Beacon or a TCB or a Habitat or a seat, that, you know, that would probably take care of it because, you know, it's not a for-profit company.
Right.
But I don't know. It's going to be whatever HCR's requirements are going to be. And then we've got to jump through our hoops.
I mean, I know that Habitat readily applies for HCR grants for just about all their projects.
Right, but they're not a public authority. They don't have to jump through the public bidding requirements.
Right.
I should correct myself on what I said earlier. I'll be meeting with someone who's done development at Albany County Land Bank on Friday. Not specifically to be the developer, but he's interested to see what properties we have available.
Yeah.
So, this informational webinar by HCR was for all funding that land banks might want to consider. There is a Legacy City Access Program specific workshop coming up. I'm not sure if it's later this week or early next week. But one of the questions I emailed in was, what are the procurement requirements for the, you know, to establish the developer? So,
Yeah.
Because I had the same.
Yeah. I mean, this is a great, it almost seems like it's written for a seat or a habitat type because because it's smaller. I mean, five buildings at a time, you know, for 1, 2, 3 families. That's pretty, you know.
Well, the one thing too, and there's a lot more to this, and I don't want to, you know, drag out a huge conversation, but there's preference. They want MWBE contractors.
Yeah.
You know, there's other things, and that's what leads me to believe it's not meant for a co-development. They want us to hire MWBE contractors, and they're going to provide them with additional resources to do the project. And so that to me says it's got to go out for requests for proposals. You know, here's the 5-10 parcels we've got. What would we develop there? Work on that concept, you know, have them propose it. You know, again, I have to read through it, but
Yeah.
it definitely seems to me that it's going to have to go out for competitive responses.
Right. Well, a lot of times too, that the prime developer doesn't necessarily need to be an M or a W, but their subs have to satisfy a percentage, right?
Yeah, but that's not what this grant says.
Yeah, they want the developer to be MBE, WBE.
Oh, where does it say that?
I know.
First page.
On the first page.
I know, I've read it.
I mean, I think that's fabulous, to be honest, because if you
Oh, there it
don't
is.
force it this way, it won't get done. You know.
Yeah.
And it does say if they're not
It's
certified,
priority.
a minority contractor would also be acceptable. But I think what they're really looking for, you know, the higher the certificate, you know, the higher qualified they are, the better, which would be the certification.
Yep. Yep. Okay. But it doesn't discount. It says priority is given to MWs. But it's
Yeah,
not
it's
it's not a
probably
requirement.
the way they score, you probably get extra
yeah.
points, you know, and that puts you over and above.
Yep.
So, but it seems to me before we could even make an application, we'd have to get some requests for proposals, and we'd have to, as a board, sort of know in your head, you know, what we want to do.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is going to be tricky because we have to, like always, get a lot of stuff done in a hurry, so the money doesn't run out. And we need to spend enough time so that we don't kind of step in it.
Yep. No, it's a great program. And it gives you the extra 20 grand per unit if you do
Energy efficiency.
more green stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it's kind of a nice, that's a nice incentive. 20 grand a unit goes a long way in a 2
Yeah.
and 3 family. Yeah.
They also mentioned NYSERDA grants that are out there for energy efficiency which would help.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. I think we should.
Okay,
So
have we exhausted that for now?
unless you want to talk, unless you want me to yak about it some more. But by
Well-
your tone,
No, only that we can't really do anything until we
No,
do something, which we
I know.
haven't, we have to talk to people.
Yep.
Okay, so that being the case, we'll move on to the monthly board agenda. Are we going to have our meeting on the 19th or another alternative meeting date?
well, the 16th, the 19th, Saturday.
Oh,
And it's
I'm
June.
looking at whoever typed this thing up.
And it's
It
June,
says-
right? June,
Yeah, it
not
says.
May.
Oh, it says May.
9th.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, 16th.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
For what it's worth, because of COVID, I didn't get a calendar this year.
What time ended?
I just didn't want to go to the stores. So the purchase application for 3154 6th Avenue, A&D tabled it. We're going to try to have a special meeting on Friday so that that may still be on the board agenda, depending on how that special meeting goes.
So we'll
Okay.
have acquisition resolution for the properties for the city. We'll have possibly a disposition resolution for 3154 6th. And
The approval for the seat 791 River.
well, I know Tony said we're gonna have to amend some things, but I haven't seen that yet, so I don't know what
That
that,
was the note that Rebecca emailed to you.
yeah, I already sent that minor change back. They've had that for a couple of weeks.
Okay, so I guess you're saying, it was just a typo. I guess
Yeah,
you're saying that doesn't need board approval.
no.
Okay.
Appointing Albert, we'll need a resolution for that.
So just to clarify, we are meeting next Wednesday, the 16th.
Right now we are, so here's another piece of what's going on. Beacon Communities, who's working with Troy Housing to de-densify Fallon Apartments, had been planning on submitting a low-income housing tax credit application back in January. They decided not to, or it might have been December, because of COVID. And they've had conversations with the city, and the city would like them to move forward with phase 2 of the Taylor apartment de-densification before they move forward with the Fallon de-densification application. And it doesn't make sense for them to submit 2 applications because they would be competing against themselves. So, so where am I going with this? What was the question? Oh, so Kate and I met with them last week. We had a conversation, and there were some issues that were raised. The end result is probably going to be the need for an amended agreement, which will not be on this agenda. But they said that they would put their heads together to try to address the issues that we raised, and they will get back to us. So I told them I am hoping they can get that back to us by the board meeting on the 16th. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to, though. So it's possible to slide it to the 23rd.
Tony, I would just say maybe it's better to go to even the 30th. I can't do the 23rd anyway, but that's okay. You guys could always meet. But just because I think it's going to take a little bit for that to come together, and then the whole 3154 fifth too. I don't know that we'll settle that this Friday, maybe, but
So how are you guys with moving it to the 30th?
I'm okay. I just don't want to unnecessarily delay seat in 791.
Yeah, that's the point.
Well, Kate said we don't need a resolution on that.
Okay.
yeah,
Is it-
that contract is ready to go. It just hasn't been officially signed because their executive director hasn't been in the office. So,
So we have passed a resolution, and it's sitting in Seats Court, right, Kate?
yeah, it's already approved. They just need to sign it and that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
So once they do that, how quickly can they get their kids in there?
They've actually already started doing some things. George Brower is starting to talk to subcontractors. He had Roland J. Downs go in to look at the HVAC systems to ensure that they're, properly installed. They've done that and everything's fine. And he's actually been in there to build railings along the back stairs because those were pretty dangerous. I mean, the stairs themselves are dangerous. Because of the way they were badly constructed. And George has been in there to meet with me and code enforcement and Chazen Engineering so that we have a firm handle on where we stand with the New York State Building Code. So in a sense, they've already kind of started.
Are they going to fix the corridor or not?
Well, we don't need to. I mean,
I don't-
that's a key question. Probably what we ought to do is get a price to do it and a price not to do it. I get, 0 versus whatever that's going to be. That makes sense?
Tony,
Yes.
can you?
I don't
can you
know.
s-
I
Oh,
don't know.
sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't know how you get around the code on that one, but I guess I don't want to do it out of expedience. If we can afford it, we should do it because I think it kind of affects marketability in my mind. Like if I was buying a $400,000 building or a $350,000 building and I had like a 2'7" corridor, sorry, As
No, I
someone
hear-
someone's looking to buy a new building, this is a new construction. You
And
know,
that the corridor is
and I-
supposed to be even
and I-
wider than what code calls for.
it needs to be minimum 3 feet.
Well,
It's
but the
just,
plans called for, I think it was like 41 inches or something.
No, the plans were 3 foot. That's
Oh, they
the
were?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I specifically brought the code enforcement officer there and explained the whole thing to him, and he said, because it's not he doesn't consider it a secondary path of egress, it's fine the way it is.
it's a path of egress for the bedroom that it serves.
Now, I understand, but that's
That's what he told you.
a statement, yeah.
Tony, can you stop the share? Because you're the size of a postage stamp, as are the rest of you.
Sorry,
Thank you.
that's usually a benefit to everyone else.
Yeah.
Speaking for myself, of course.
So bottom line, the 30th or the 16th?
I guess. I'm okay with the 30th as long as it doesn't delay 791.
Yeah, I'm good either way.
Well, Heather is also away next week, so might be good to have her there. So,
Okay,
why don't I do this? Let's see how the Friday special meeting goes. And I'll talk to Beacon and see how that kind of comes together. Does that make sense?
okay. I'll keep the 30th open just in case.
All right, thank
Until
you.
otherwise.
And then I
Okay.
always have on here attorney-client privilege meeting. Kate, I thought you wanted to speak to the board about a legal issue.
Yeah, I think we probably should do an executive session for an attorney-client privilege discussion on the Beacon Communities project.
Okay.
So if we could get a motion to adjourn to executive session for that. I don't plan, on offering anything for action, but certainly needs to be a privilege discussion.
Okay, would anyone like to make that motion?
Oh, that's not for right now. That's for the board meeting.
Oh, the board
Oh,
meeting.
no, I wanted to tell the executive committee right now. Tony.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
if that's okay. It's 5 minutes, nothing crazy.
So do we have a, okay,
Go to executive session.
all right, Brian, and I will second it. Okay, we are going into.
All in favor?
Yeah, all in favor.
All right, I'm gonna
Thank
put
you.
this on pause. Okay, we are now recording.
Okay, so we're coming out of executive session. No actions were discussed or made. And now we have the opportunity to adjourn the meeting. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
Brian, and second?
I'll second.
Okay, Albert seconding. And all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, meeting is adjourned.
Okay.
Okay, thank you all.
Have a good evening, everybody.
Okay,
Aye.
you
Thank you.
too. Bye-bye.
Aye.